Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is that time again. Another night of LSL action. Of course, it's Magni here with Refresh, bringing you some Call of Duty action tonight. How you doing, Refresh?
I'm doing super well tonight. I'm not going to lie. I woke up from a big old nap. I was super tired earlier today, but now I'm feeling really, really good. So I'm ready, man. I'm ready for some Call of Duty.
Man, I wish I could have taken a nap. Work was grueling today, but you know what? It's all good now because we get to watch some great Call of Duty, hopefully. The last few matches have been bangers. I mean, what's kind of stood out to you in the last few days, last few matches?
In the last few matches, honestly, I'm going to be taking a look on over the match that happened last night. LA Rumble going up 2-0 in their series, but then getting reverse swept by Colorado Peak. Just the bounce back from Peak was really good. I feel like those first two maps easily could have been a 3-0. I feel like the Scar was kind of lost in a weird way. And then, I mean, if you guys saw the raid, the round 11 on the raid was bananas. But yeah, that's going to be the match that I was most excited about, definitely so far at the beginning of the week.
I would also have to probably agree because I was kind of looking to see how Colorado was kind of going to adjust after trading Jaded. And the first two maps, like it kind of, you could see that like some things just weren't working. The vibes weren't there. The routes weren't there. The chemistry wasn't. And then that map 3, they started getting like those 50-50 situations to go their way, and they pulled it out at the end.
Yeah, I mean, and they absolutely, like, in the Scar, they absolutely took over. It wasn't even close in that S&D on Scar in that Game 5. So you can definitely tell they just kind of hit the momentum and just really ran with it, too. And they outslayed for majority of the series. Even that round 11 on Raid, Colorado was able to win the defense on the defense on the round 11 by winning out in slays. So, I mean, it felt kind of right for them to win the series, but it was definitely, heartbreaking for LA that they lost the series that way. That's never, ever how you want to lose a series.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where you're going to go look back and look at VOD and you're just going to be like, what went wrong?
Yeah, and you're going to be able to see a lot.
Yeah, but I mean, the other match last night, it was also one of those things where DC just remains dominant. Like, at this point, it's kind of really who's going to catch up to DC, especially with Minnesota having Jaded looking for trades could mean a little bit of sketchy waters in that camp over there. So I would definitely have to say until that gets resolved, DC's kind of looking like the team to beat right now almost.
Yeah, I was definitely interested to see how Minnesota would play at the beginning of this week, considering how they closed out last week, getting reverse swept by Boston. I mean, a few reverse sweeps already now in this season. It looked like they just didn't have the bounce back that they wanted to have. So Jaded asking to leave. I mean, that's going to be do you think concerning for that team, or do you think both camps, whoever gets picked up, is kind of both camps could benefit from that?
So, I mean, it comes down to, like, obviously we aren't in the scrims, we aren't in the comms, and so, like, the gunny could be there, but it could just be the team doesn't vibe well together, especially with, like, a player like Prodigy from the Dream who are about to play in this match also being on the trading block. It could be one of those things where maybe a switch there happens, Prodigy goes and starts, maybe a 3-team trade, something like that, but they're definitely going to have to find somebody with the same slaying power if it's more of just a vibes issue.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the hard part of the match, slaying power, but maybe you could also trade out slaying power for maybe a little bit more teamwork. Maybe there was some miscommunication on the map. Like you said, we don't know. We're not in their team calls. We're not in their scrims. We don't know exactly what's going on with that team. But when a player asks for a trade, it's there's usually something happening in there. I want to know.
I mean, it's almost the equivalent of A.J. Brown telling people halfway through the season, hey, drop me. Do not start me.
Yeah.
This is not a good situation over here. It kind of gives me the same vibe, so it makes me wonder if Jaded isn't happy, even though, like, he got an MVP and, like, Minnesota looked really good in that match that he played in with him, Mystic, both coming in. But it's also, who really knows at the end of the day.
But yeah, who knows, man? But we're gonna go ahead and talk about the map set coming up. You guys won't be able to see it on your screen, but Vegas versus Raleigh. We're going to have Colossus to start us out on Hardpoint. We have back-to-back dens for the Search and Destroy and the Overload. We're going to go over to Scar, of course, for another Hardpoint, and Game 5 possible Raid S&D.
Man, I mean, there's a lot of bang outs here. Like, Den, Overload, it's really just one of those things of just like, oh, hey, if they get past our, like, 75% point, like, towards our goal, it's kind of over, just play the OE, and it's just going to be one of those fast-paced games.
Yeah, and no surprise with seeing Scar there as one of the hard points as well. I think definitely the favorite within the league. We usually see it map 1, so it's kind of nice to see Colossus coming in for a series. I feel like we haven't really seen much Colossus at all in the league.
I feel like it's been more like Blackheart and like basically every other map besides Colossus. But
yeah,
Colossus plays honestly really good, as long as you just don't randomly get spawn trapped, because if somebody holds anchor, it's just over. So it's one of those things where it's gonna kind of be a bang out in P1 and P3, but then P2 and P4, it's gonna really be whoever has the better setups going when the hill pops.
Yeah, and then on Den for the Search and Destroy, I feel like we also see a lot of Den. I think Den and Scar are definitely our most popular maps right now. Den on the S&D is pretty interesting. I feel like it can play kind of funky sometimes. I feel like it is an entertaining map, but it's going to be a lot of headies. People showing peaks and a lot of info giving too, whether it be coming to the middle of the map watching the cross or people being over on that jump side. So I'll be curious to see how teams play that. I really like Den S&D. I feel like both Colossus, Hardpoint, and Den S&D really feel like classic COD maps with the way you have to like communicate right on the map. And so, but yeah, Den's definitely a favorite map in this league for sure.
Well, and the reason why Den is so popular is because it's a very close, the closest that we're ever going to get to just another traditional 3-lane map. Like, obviously, Den has both top windows, and then it has a little bit of chaos going on over to the A-bomb side. But outside of that, it's really just truly square up, play the lanes, and work angles. And it's just a great spot.
Yeah, and then I feel like with the angles that you kind of have to meet on Den, it requires a lot of team shooting. I feel like your assist counter ticks up quite a bit because there is a lot of weight. Yes, it is a 3-lane map, but there's a lot of ways to survive on Den. There's a lot of corners that you can kind of just slip through. There's definitely some wall bangable spots, but nothing like Scar. Scar, 3/4 of the walls on that map are paper thin.
Oh, yeah. Unlike in the Ghost map, you can wall bang those attached.
Yeah. Oh no, dude, that was so bad. Dude, that's a throwback. All the way back, Ghost. Yeah, you can wall. Can't wall bang those. But yeah, no, the info grabbing on Den is super important. And then we go into the Den Overload, and seeing a respawn on Den is fine. I like the respawns with the static spawns. I think it's always fun to watch, especially on a map like Den where one side is definitely favored over the other.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things where like you truly, like, at least in my opinion, like, there's only a few maps that have like true like good side and bad side. Like, most of the Overload maps, like, yeah, there is a good side with like air quotation marks, but you can really score from either side as long as you have good setups.
Yeah, and I think you can score from either side. I think the opportunity to score on jumps maybe when you're spawning lobby side isn't the best, just because where that P2 spawn is, it's super protected. It's super easy to see that site. So you're probably going to see that team trying to run it more dojo side and that P3 side, just because I feel like once you get down into that little garage, it's I know it's not much space, but I feel like it takes forever, and there's so much lines of sight on it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where if you can get somebody in that back square behind satellite or the radio like box. If you can get somebody pushed out there and you spawn them B side and then you just watch like obviously the cut in the back stairs, that's really the only time A is viable unless you just know they're over pushing committing heavy to B.
Right.
But I mean, it is one of those definitely on that side. It's a B favored map because as soon as you get past that little like stair cut on cross from B, it's kind of just in.
Yeah, it's super open, and it's honestly pretty hard to get somebody deep within the spawn like that on that side of the map, just because you kind of have to peek there in order to get any kills crossing over. And I feel like taking gunfights from the other side can be a really big advantage. But so it's strange. It's a super strong spawn, but it also has its weak sides when it comes to defending it on the flip or on the overload. But then we're going to Scar, like we said. Scar walls paper thin. I've been seeing a lot of teams getting a lot more time than they should on P1 on Scar. So I'll be curious to see who takes advantage of that and recognizing that and being able to play in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, it really just comes down to where you're sitting on hill dependent. Like, you have to read spawns very well because spawns flip so easily on Scar. 1 second they're coming top green when you're sitting P1 and you're holding, like, white-blue side. But then somebody pushes out too far red on your team and now you're getting a back spawn white wall. And so it kind of makes it hard for you just to stay, like, anchored on the hill. You kind of have to constantly be moving with your gun up.
Yeah, that is definitely for sure. And those spawns are super sticky on that green side, right? I feel like they're super sensitive. If you get pushed a little bit too far out towards 18-wheeler, then you're kind of just giving it up. I mean, you can always have people stare at it, too, from top green. People will spawn there if you're in top green. But, yeah. Crazy. I think that's honestly probably the most difficult spawn in the game to consistently hold.
Yeah, I mean, it just... As long as one person just plays spawn kind of slow when they spawn up, that spawn is sticky as all get out. But if they all just push through and nobody kind of waits a second to kind of have like that second or two delay between like the 31st players and the last player, then you still have an opportunity to get flipped.
Yeah. Yeah, and getting flipped on that map could be super bad, especially if somebody recognizes that flip is happening. They hop on just any heady. any of them. It was so scary. But middle map is I think honestly middle of the map is pretty underrated, like going through 10 and going through mid, because that cut with the barrier there from green to mid is super strong, especially if you're getting people coming from P3 to P5. But yeah. Yeah, I like the map. I think it's good. I honestly, there's not really a map this year, especially competitive, that I dislike.
Thinking about it, like, I really don't like Blackheart, but that's also just kind of the type of player I am.
You don't like the bang outs?
I don't like the fact that I can go hit P1 and somebody do a triple wall jump above my head and I'm behind me.
Dude, just look up.
Brother, I'm old.
Turn that FOV up. Request a 140 FOV from Activision. Whatever you got to do.
It's not enough.
Yeah, no, some of the wall jumps are crazy. I'm on the other side where I do like that element, because it kind of feels like I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of AW. I think that game was actually... Oh, yeah. I think that's probably the most underrated COD and underappreciated COD I think that we've had. From like a competitive... Man, we had like 20-plus LANs that year. It was constant competitive matches. There was a lot of high-risk, high-reward elements. Honestly, the only thing that was bad about it was the BAL ASM meta.
I mean... My thing is I have a really soft spot for World War II.
Oh, that game's gas too.
The game was good. The competitive aspect was good. Like, everything was just, like, even the little loading like screen like the shooting range, and then you could go do the 1v1s. Like that game had it all, and everybody, as soon as it went away, everybody was just like, "Oh, we hate this game." I'm just like, how?
Yeah, no, that's a good shot for underrated as well. I like that one. I think that game was pretty good. And what we had decent rank too, right? We had actual elo ranks.
Yeah, it was it was a 4-digit basically. It was fun. It made sense. The FG meta was kind of crazy there for about 2 or 3 weeks in between Major 1 and Major 2.
Yeah.
But besides that, the gun, like, the STG came in and it was still balanced. Like, we don't actually get balanced guns anymore.
Yeah, well, speaking of balanced guns, did you read the patch notes for this last week for the M15 and the Dravik?
Man, I played it. Like, I played it in 8s, I played it in some other stuff, and it doesn't feel any different. The only thing that's different might just be, like, an extra bullet at range for the Dravik, and then your hip fires aren't as consistent for the M15 up close. So, I mean, it doesn't really change anything. Yeah, you're not getting gunned as a AR from a sub from range now as consistently. So it's kind of just going back to the trying to make it an AR being an AR and a sub being a sub.
Yeah, I think that's a positive change. I read the patch notes, and I'm at least happy they're trying to see that complaint out from the competitive, because that's going to be the competitive meta. I don't think anything will change about that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Mirage comes into play. Who knows? But as we're getting into map 1, though, we see that Chet, Crispy, Slippers, and Cash for Las Vegas. Bill, Jonesy, Pack, and Rilo for Raleigh, as Raleigh gets 3 off the break. It's a 2-for-3 trade. Slippers getting Cash in control, gun still pickled, while Raleigh still hold the hill.
Yeah, pretty fast start there for Raleigh. Raleigh doing their best to get into the point early on, but just like that, Vegas is going to send some bodies over there, get up top control. Top control is going to be super important throughout this map, especially the access that this point of the map has for either side of the map. Double nade there for Cash. Cash starting out 3-1. Slippers, we're going to hop on board with the AR. Starting out 5-0.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's an 8s, league matches, tournament, Slippers shoots his gun straight, and he's going to have to do that here to be able to make the as we see him trying to get P2 spawns. Dream already has the rotation, but Slippers gets gunned from front, and they're just going to bang front, and we'll have...
Yeah, we're going to see a pretty exciting exchange here on the P2. Yeah, the P2 kind of getting a little mixy there for a second, but it is going to be Vegas starting to get points again.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just a back and forth. Who's going to decide to take hill, who's going to decide to take routes, and it's not ever really just balancing out for one team or the other. Vegas getting a little bit of control here and finally consistently as we see that. Rain just break in from the front again, get the scrap time, and they already have the rotation to new. So this could be a snowball to get them back in, down points going into new.
Yeah, Dill Pickle falling there on the rotation. Really good job there by Tristy. Tristy picking up a pretty massive kill and starting to hit this deep flank. Going to be in a really nice position for that gunfight there. Able to clear out these players over towards P4 in the back. Up a second player as they're gonna finally get picked up there, but really good job trying to control the spawns, get an early rotation. You can really bang this side out of the map from either side. Like I feel like this is a pretty similar to a P1 hill.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you want to hold on to the side to make sure presence. Right now, Vegas have the good side. But as we say that, Raleigh just gets 3 down, and they're soaking the hill, and this is probably gonna swing into a Raleigh.
Yeah, Raleigh doing a nice job banging out. They're gonna have the lead here for at least 10 or 15 seconds because these spawns are really locked down now by Vegas. Vegas perched around the map. Look at how those arrows are spread out, kind of filling up every gap on that map. This number 4 arrow here, Cash, is going to be player watch. They're going to end up falling, and Slippers in the back to try to do a little bit damage.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because Vegas is outslaying right now. Like, before this P4 popped, it was pretty heavy. and they're still down in kills. So somebody's going to have to stop being the Slayer and just get on hill for Las Vegas.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting to see this Vegas team out slaying and not really being able to get in the point. I feel like they're getting broken on their setups pretty easy. I feel like with this hill here, it feels like they had every single lane covered, but it kind of just fell apart really fast. They take it back over, however. Chetch, Cash, Slippers, and Tristy all doing a decent job moving forward on the map and trying to. I think the rotations are better than Raleigh. For some reason, they're just not holding them.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at how the game's gone so far in this first set of rotations, it's Vegas getting to the hill first, kind of holding 10 or 15 seconds, Raleigh breaking, then Vegas getting 2 waves, 3 break hill, and then Raleigh. So it's just led to a tie game so far with only a 6-point difference in P1. Rain have control and look for another lead change, the 4th of this game.
Yeah, a lot of back and forth through that first rotation. We'll see if that's telling through the second. Yeah, you said it perfectly. I mean, Vegas is having a hard time locking down the hard point after I feel like they do all the good work setting it up. Honestly, I feel like they're doing the hard part. I feel like getting the slays when you're actually pre-rotated should be pretty easy, but maybe the guns for Raleigh are starting to get warm.
Yeah, I mean, this combination for Vegas is the first one that we've seen this season, so maybe it's just a little bit of miscommunication and not knowing exactly where each other's playing. But outside of that, it's one of those things where if you're going to keep out slaying, Cash being +6, Check being double positive, Slippers +6, the game's going to eventually go wide open. So Raleigh really have to get back to this and kind of take a little bit of control.
Yeah, definitely speed up the guns. Yeah, like you said, it could just be like a communication of kind of who's on the map, right? Usually once you have all 4 people on the same side, you kind of have to start communicating on who's looking what, who's doing what. So maybe that's just taking a little bit longer than they would like. But it's starting to piece together here as we go into the second P2. And on the second half of this P2, they've taken definitely the biggest lead in the game that they've had. And it looks like they're looking to close out with a couple of slays here. The scrap as well. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tale of 2 different stories with these teams right now because Raleigh has 1 hill kit and other people playing around the hill, while Vegas, everybody is above 45 seconds and the player's already over it. And so it's kind of just like 2 different dynamics, and we see that it's working a little bit better for Las Vegas as they have a 50-point lead going into noon.
Yeah, but when we get over to this P3, they're looking to tie it up. They're basically going to have to get every single part of this point if they want to really get back into it. Vegas doing a good job on the slays. And like I said, piecing it together, figuring it out on the map. Maybe communication's starting to grow a little bit too. Maybe a little bit more small talk. Small talk is very big in my eyes for how well a team performs. I really like to hear. I want to hear the story, man. I want to know exactly how you got to where you are and where you're looking.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things. You have to call out where you're spawning, where you're looking, where you're running, where you saw somebody at, like what spawns we might have. Like it's so much communication that separates the good teams from the great teams.
Yeah, and I mean, you see it a lot. I think a lot of people think good calling out is just kind of calling out the dots that are already on the map. But good calling out, and like I said, open that book. Read me a page from that book. I really want to know everything about what's going on the map. Especially for your ARs, that's super valuable, right? They're going to have 2 people to kind of cover on this map. And with 2 AR, 2 sub meta, sometimes 3 AR meta, I feel like having great coverage on the map is super, super important.
The crazy thing about this hill, Vegas fought it from the front. The whole time until this last 20 seconds, fought it from front. Raleigh had spawns. Dream got the first 20 seconds uncontested and eventually got a majority of the before time, making it to where it's kind of like do or die now for Raleigh. Like, who's going to step up? Who's going to make that play? Who's going to make it to where they can kind of start getting back in it? Right now, Vegas just is kind of doing what they can. It's still everybody on Vegas now is on. where about halfway through the game, Tristy was still negative, but that's not the case anymore. It's just the longer this game goes, it looks like the hotter Las Vegas stuff.
Yeah, and I think the expectation is for Vegas to kind of win on these respawns. I mean, I think this Vegas team has, I've heard a few people talk about them. There is high expectations, especially come out hot in a series. The way they kind of fell flat during the series last week, I think there's a lot of anxiousness here, but I think in a good way, right? I think these players are maybe a little bit more pumped up this week than last week, even though last week was the start of everything. But at least on the mini-map, they're showing the energy, you know what I mean? That's super big. You can tell a lot by the mini-map.
Yeah, the big thing about these players on Dream is it's just good enough is never enough for them, and that's why we've seen roster changes, go up on the block, on the trade block. It's just we can see them trying to get better. Straight down their hard point looks significantly better than what we saw last week. As we say that, Raleigh breaks in, kind of keeps the game alive for a little bit. If they get all of this PC, maybe get a rotation, they're back in the game down by 30 if they hold this. But Vegas is just pushing for P1 in front, and it's a 2-for-1 trade. Raleigh holding strong.
Yeah, I really like the beginning of the sequence. Rilo did a really good job staying alive, picking up a 2-piece, and earning these P2 spawns again. Hardpoint's never done, man. Like, there's so many times we see teams kind of get stumped on a certain part of a rotation, maybe get a little frustrated, challenging 1v4 on everything. I mean, just the wrong timing on your spawns can mean so much on the map. It goes from challenging as a team to challenging 1 versus 1, and I feel like when teams start playing for desperation, that's when you can definitely see it on the mini-map and how they're utilizing the spawns. Jonesy picking up a nice 2-piece, just shredding bottom mid.
Yeah, that turn and burn onto bottom gives them a little bit of time here to try to get into rotation. Dill Pickle with the cruise finds one, but it's mainly Blue and Blue on the side, and Jonesy does super hard for them to break down.
Yeah, and you gotta be careful too, because they can win on this, so they can't start trying to rotate early. This is gonna be an interesting route that you die on. You gotta just kind of hit front there with only 3 seconds left. Being top mid is not exactly just giving up on the map.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like 3 players on Vegas have 30 plus kills, like real kills, not EKIAs. It's very hard to keep up with that pace, especially when you're like playing from behind, because you get too frantic. You want to do something. You want to be the one to make the play, and 95% of the time it just leads to you dying.
Yeah, and then I think we saw the desperation that we were just talking about there from Raleigh at the end, starting to just kind of chow everything 1v2. But yeah, I mean, map number 1 going in the favor of Vegas Dream, looking good in the first respawn.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where if you're Vegas, you're not happy with this win. Like, you had to outslay by that much. You have to look back and see what could we have done better, because this was way too close with how many kills we were getting.
Yeah, I mean, with how Vegas was outslaying, I think it took them. I think you pointed out, especially at the beginning of the game, like they just got together. They're kind of working on this thing as a new team, and I think you can see it coming together. And I think they did it in a way that's fast. So maybe that's going to be a trend that we see throughout the series. Maybe we'll see a slow start to the search and the overload, but maybe we see them kind of pick up the actual objective work, not the slang, because they're shooting just fine. But slang is one thing, but actually being able to move on the map with a purpose is another.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, in-game adjustments, like, obviously you have your rough idea of what everybody's going to play, what roles they're going to play. But if somebody just goes out, like, Slippers was 5-0 at the start. You should have just let that man do whatever he wanted to, fly, be comfortable, everybody else play around him. So it's one of those things where maybe we see Raleigh adjust better than Vegas does and come out and win the search. I don't really have a tell on who's going to win the search, because I think it'll be pretty close.
Yeah, I mean, search and destroy is the it has been an interesting mode. I feel like maybe not S&D in general, but this game number 2 in particular, I think we have like a really high percentage right now of game 2 the team winning game 2 is the team not winning game 1. So we've seen a lot of 3-1s, a lot of 3-2s, some reverse sweeps in this, but usually when it's that 3-1, it's that search and destroy. I think there's clear teams that are better at search, and I think yesterday we had a really, really good example of that as well. As far as the search and destroy, DC, right? DC played Atlanta. DC smashed Atlanta in the respawn, but as soon as it went over to the search, it kind of looked like a different story. They were getting outslayed, however, they were just working those bomb sites better and like winning less scrappy rounds.
I mean, in early COD, like there's a reason why if you win 2-3-5, it's called Nesloing somebody. Neslo made a whole career at being good at search and being able to take the miscellaneous respawn that wasn't a hard point. He did it for his whole career. And so, like, maybe that's kind of why we're seeing a little bit of such stark difference between map 1, who wins, and map 2, who wins, is because this game definitely does have different speeds and styles for each of the different modes.
Yeah, and I like that. I feel like Control kind of just landed in the same speed as Hardpoint, but with Overload, with, like, the pulling back on the map and pushing forward. With the water movement, instead of less feeling like a river, it feels more like a wave. I think Overload is a nice addition to the game. It's kind of nice having that objective that moves. So yeah, I think there's 3 different paces that you play at this game. Obviously, your respawn teams are going to have a little bit more of an edge in Overload, but there's a big decision-making element when it comes to where you run that EMP, how well you're paying attention to the info that you're getting from your teammates. There's a giant. I mean, if we want to look at another league reference, it's going to be the CDL. I mean, look at the way Thieves played Overload this last week. It was not good.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of just looked lost. I'm not going to lie to you, Kitty looked lost that whole series, but that's a conversation for another day. It's one of those things where it's really, you just need one person shot calling an Overload and everybody else on the team trusting what he says. Because if you're playing as a team, you're more than likely going to get control. But looking at this next search and destroy on Den, we're going to be looking at a lot of probably B pressure. With Las Vegas being on offense first, we're going to see a B heavy setup. It's going to be a 4B with Raleigh doing a 1 mid, 1A, 2B.
Yeah, so those first bloods are going to kind of get traded out there. It's going to be Cash running the sniper rifle, but they're going to get picked off by Dill Pickle. We're going to hop on board with Slippers here as they're working the AR on this dojo side of the map. Good for a pig, able to back down behind that wall. You got to be careful. You can get wall bang there. And Bob is going to go down.
I mean, Vegas didn't push up. They just played way too slow. There's never a time where you are front dojo looking over B bomb and bomb gets played on. It's one of those things where Vegas just needs to play with the confidence that they have and kind of just fly because they hurt them a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how the momentum swings. You win one type of round, you got to win the other type of round as well. So we'll see how they end up playing on this defense. I think getting an offensive win out of the way is really nice. I feel sometimes offense can take a little bit of time to figure out. There's a little bit of a mix-up. Sometimes that bomb player feels like they have to play a certain way, and so it can kind of mess up their slaying abilities if they let it get to their head.
Yeah, I mean, as we go into round 2, we see a drastically different strategy from Vegas. Getting into that getting into that A side, just taking control of small room in red, kind of just waiting for Raleigh to scam, and we see check, and we get the first 3 automatically go down. The last one is Dill Pickle back their spawn, looking to try to see if he can get something working, and it just, as soon as he's spotted, he's taken down. Vegas tie it up.
Yeah, Vegas tied up 1-1. Both teams winning their opening offense, which is kind of like, see, yeah, I like this. I like the vision of the different strategies, right? Because now that hit over towards this jump side is going to be in the back of Raleigh's mind. So they're going to know they're going to be able to do that. So you're going to see maybe a little bit more resources on the next defense thrown that way. But Dill Pickle whipping out the sniper rifle in true Call of Duty tradition. We will be right here until they die.
It's the boomstick too big for Dill Pickle to handle.
Interesting, knowing that they're going to hit this A side, he still pulls it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of there's not really any sniping lanes here, especially when you double up on somebody. He just runs right over Tristy, laying down in a bomb, and it's now a 2v4 bomb down for Vegas, looking in a really good position.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see what the conversation is going to be like on pulling the sniper rifle out on that type of hit. And yeah, it just doesn't work for them. They just run into a wall. They get right up to that office window, and they kind of just all fall apart. Yeah, I don't know who it was laying on the ground just before the mantle, but they were also in a really good position. The other player in servers and a player just underneath the window, so...
Yeah, I kind of question the doubling up in that same corner when you're a sniper. It's kind of just maybe a wasted life because, you know, you only get two. So I feel like maybe that could have been used to a better efficiency.
Yeah, we're going to see them use it again here, though. Typical going up top window. Going to try to get any info. All right, a 4-hit over towards B. Snipe rings out. Nobody gets hit. Nobody really with any info.
Yeah, I mean, we see Vegas kind of playing a little bit slower here, looking for the info, kind of seeing that they might be heavy B. Tristy gets the first one while Raleigh pushes up too far, and it looks like it's going to be a rotation from A, but number 3, Ack, is going to be here for it. It's just going to be dependent. He gets one, but do they push him out? And he doesn't catch Cash laying outer. A's open. You have a sniper. Has 1 of your lives left for Raleigh. This is not looking good.
Yeah, this isn't looking good at all. Dillpickle's going to try to get an angle on anybody in what feels an empty map. Picks up Cash. Decent little snipe there, looking to get pushed up. That's going to help Jonesy out a little bit. Oh, let's see if they can pick up a second gun. Info's going to come out. Still has a sniper out. Bomb possibly going down here.
They have to check it. Oh, he's going to take him hostage. He doesn't look. He doesn't. He's right under you.
I don't think you realized. He thought maybe that was a dead body.
He's right under him. What is Tristy doing?
If you don't move, they cannot see you. But, yeah, that's going to use up Dill Pickle's life here with the sniper rifle. So no snipers on the map now. Now we're going to hop on board with Tristy. Tristy, 5-1.
Tristy just has one of those paces where if you're not ready for it, it just catches you kind of by surprise, and before you even really see him, you're just already dead.
Yeah. Ooh, unless you kind of get them rushing through the middle of the map. Slippers. As we hop on board with them, going to be rotating over back with the AR. Kill starting to get traded over here on this lobby side. Chetch picking up 2 in red. Yeah, just not able to clutch on 1v2. Just in a bad position.
Yeah, well, it looked like such a good start for Raleigh. Kind of just, they have to hit the go button on something. They have to make a decision because that's what won Las Vegas the round. They were decisive with their actions and decided what they were going to hold, how long they were going to hold it for, chowed stuff together. Like, as you see in that last kill, there's 2 people stairs. Even if he gets the first one, he immediately gets traded.
Yeah, I mean, this is similar to kind of what the hardpoint looked like. Raleigh starting off a little bit hotter. Vegas getting into the mix a little bit later in these rounds. Cash could pick up the bomb. Looks like Vegas is going to hit on over onto this B side. Trophies down, just trying to survive.
I mean, it's interesting because he throws the trophy down, but Cash still takes damage to the nade, so they know that they're here B. So it's just got to kind of be deciding on whether or not to either push out B or rotate mid or A. It looks like it might just be a bang out here at B.
Yeah, and then Slippers is going to have to rotate all the way around, so we're going to hop on board with somebody else. Slippers might actually get a decent rotation. No, they end up falling in the background. And bomb is going to get dropped. Raleigh staying well in this game, keeping it tied up, 3-3.
Yeah, Raleigh it was isolate one person, isolate the next. Dill Pickle did a really good job rotating bottom red there to catch Slippers on the flank. It kind of made it to where it was easier for Raleigh to close out the round because you don't ever have to worry about dojo push. If Slippers does get that kill there, it changes the whole round.
Yeah, I feel like the tug of war right now is pretty even on this map. I feel like maybe you're seeing when Vegas Dream win a round, they win it seems like in a flash. But I feel like if these rounds drag on just a little bit too long, I feel like Raleigh might have the advantage in the patient game. Wow, that wall bang looked like a laser. That was some crazy decision making with the aim there. That was really good wall bang.
He snapped to the position before whoever he killed even slid there, and then just started wall banging it, and he ran into it. That was a crazy read out of Jonesy.
Yeah, Jonesy with the X-ray vision, shooting through that wall, looking like Superman, not spying on the citizens. But yeah, Rilo.
He would never.
Nah, dude, he's too nice, right? Rilo though in a 1v2, they pick a bomb. The info comes in, and the arrows chase the red arrows chase the blue ones down, and just like that, the round ends, man. Yeah, scrappy rounds.
Yeah, I mean, there's only been 1 or 2 rounds where Vegas kind of just started slamming, like that one where they were just laying in A waiting and Raleigh pushed into it. But besides that, it's always come down to like either a 1v1, a 1v2, really, really competitive rounds here so far in the S&D.
Yeah, this S&D's definitely been very entertaining right now. Tristy and Chet's with the lead slaying on the map. I feel like Vegas has a better slaying record right now, and they do have a round up, so looks like everything's going according to plan for them. Tristy trying to get a little bit of help on the bomb. Slipper is going to be left in an interesting position here, just trying to get as much info as they possibly can. Trying not to get ripped off of that heady. Gonna back down, play their life. Dill Pickle's gonna pick up cash. Yeah, they know. Slipper's got to go help.
Yeah, I mean, the tack usage out of Raleigh here is just so much better than Vegas. They got to held it. Slippers gets one, almost rips the second off of Dojo Heady, and I think it's just going to be a play to rotate here. Player 3 might have caught Slippers on the rotation, and he definitely knows that Tristy's there. We're going to kind of see a 3-way collapse as Act gets one. It's Tristy in a 1v3 fighting for his life to keep the lead in this SMU.
Yeah, that player rotated all the way to the outside, outer red, and just was able to see them chilling, waiting for that player there. Yeah, interesting round there. I feel like a lot of really good tack usage. There was a moment where Slippers kind of, I felt like, left the map a little bit. Came back, was able to get a kill. And it could have got interesting there, but...
yeah, I mean, as soon as Raleigh knew where the last 2 players were, it was like a 3-pronged attack. One went mid, one went deep, and then one went through couches, and they were kind of just swarming. It was a really good setup and really good late round play out of Raleigh.
Yeah, Raleigh with the bomb. They're going to 3-hit mid. Going to give a decent amount of info over. Who was this? Ag trying to get pushed up in the red. This could be a big spot right here to be in. Gonna give them up on the mini map. There's a player in here waiting for him. Are they able to slide in and get a kill? No. Another 3v2 here. Ooh, but just like that, one gets picked up. Chet's looking to pick up another one. 2v2. Bomb in the hands of Rilo.
And he's just running down check, and he gets it. He turns it into a 2v1. B-side control. Cash is going to have to either retake from mid or back couch side.
Oh. Cash. Give him all the info there. Not able to pick anybody up. Sees 2. Bomb is going to go down. It's going to make this round significantly harder. Feels like another player is on the map when that bomb's down. It just really forces you in a certain area.
Yeah, I mean, Raleigh's playing this perfectly. They're not scamming. They're not pushing out. They're not taking too much space. They're just playing around long, and Cash just gets taken down Dojo, and it's another round for Raleigh on map point. Sorry, words did not want to work there for a second, but on map point, Raleigh. We'll have to see what Vegas can do to kind of turn this around, or we'll see what, like we were talking about before, map 2, where it was kind of like the first team who takes map 1, the other team takes map 2.
Yeah, and honestly, that's just the trend that we've been seeing here. But we're gonna hop on board with, let's hop on board with Rilo. See if Rilo can really clear out the rest of this S&D free. And just going to get pushed up on the map, going to get pushed up the 10. Is going to get stunned, so a little bit of info coming their way. This is a 2-2 split here for Raleigh, but they're going to have to start sending some help over here on this side of the map. One player gets taken out. 3v4.
Vegas do a good job. They're having somebody at B and they get stunned, and it gives the info to the rest of the team of, oh, hey, they might be B, so it freezes them, and it gets Vegas just all the time around A. Leading into a 3v1, Dill Pickle against Check, Slippers, and Tristy.
Oh. No hope there for the 1v4. Typical not able to clean up that second kill in the lobby area. 5-5. We got a round 11 for our game number 2. I mean, I'm expecting Vegas here to probably get the defense.
Predictions real quick. Who do you think's going to win round 11? I'm either going to say it's going to be Vegas in like 20 seconds.
I think Raleigh's going to hit a 4-banger on one side. I think they're going to play the super weird on round 11. No, split off.
Yeah, one top window. 3 is just playing in their spawn.
Yeah, interesting. That's some old head Call of Duty right there. Waiting for a wrap, waiting for a pick. Looks like they're wanting to slow play this B side. Info is going to come out. Nade damage does go in. With that number 3 arrow, they are giving themselves an opportunity to wrap back. Maybe that the shots ring out. Yep, Dill Pickle's thinking about it. You can tell they don't know where to go. Do we go A or B? But that 3 arrow, who is that act, finally going to get into the mix. They know now that this is going to be a B hit. This is going to be a big, big decision here on this map.
See, Raleigh, they just have to hit the go button. They had numbers here. Rilo gets the first pick onto Check. Jonesy pushing out mid.
Big.
Doesn't get a 3v2 situation. Raleigh getting bombed down.
Yeah, that was a big gunfight that kind of happened. That could have easily just been down to a 3-on-1, but who was that? I think that was Tristy picking up a big kill there. Both these players going to be hiding out in Dojo. Can you see the gun from there? Raleigh kind of just fumbling here. No, players laying on the ground. Tristy picking up that kill, going to run back over, shoot the body as Cash does the actual work by defusing the bomb.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Raleigh they didn't trust their post-plant situation, and they just got picked off one by one. Yeah,
that was a crazy round 11, man. I feel like that could have gone either way. Raleigh did have control over on that side of the map. Bomb going down too. You should be able to clean that up. But they both kind of hit Dojo. They kind of limit their angles that they have on the map to see any info coming across. But yeah, that was big.
Yeah, I mean, it really just leads to Vegas. When Tristy gets that double kill Dojo and Rilo's just sitting there in a corner, he has to chow right there. There's no way that Tristy should ever be allowed to go back prone behind those stairs.
Yeah, that's gotta be exactly right. That's gotta be a double chow. I mean, I thought the same thing too, and honestly, it kind of looked like their gun was poking out from the corner of the wall. Maybe they did get spotted, and that's why Tristy decided to just lay down and wait for that player. But yeah, there's a lot of faith. Just keep looking Dojo, making sure that there's nobody behind you. I mean, you did rotate from red, so you have the assumption that that's clear. But yeah, heads up play from them just to kind of lay down.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where you know that Cash is going to be next to you soon. Don't overchow your life. Make them push you. And it's just one of those things where Tristy decided not to scam, and it won him the round.
Yeah, won him the round and the map. Take a look at your scores here from map 1 and from map 2. Honestly, super close. Could have gone either way on both of these. I feel like Raleigh did a decent job in the hard point, taking over an HP, even though Dream had it controlled to begin with. But yeah, then the search and destroy. Vegas, not only do they clutch out the hard point, they also clutch out another close game in the S&D in around 11. Just playing super patient, honestly. They didn't really have numbers floated over on that side. They just kind of won their ones. They traded super, super well, and it worked out for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where looking on to the next map, we're going back to another den. We saw how Tristy could get ratty, how Slippers was holding angles. If you're Raleigh right now, you have to decide, are we just going to keep solo challenging the Vegas players, or are we going to come out and double chow them? Because it's something that we didn't see in the end of the search right there. So hopefully that adjustment's made for them, because right now Vegas looks like they have all the ice and it's not going away anytime soon.
Yeah, the double chows, man, they got to be on point. You got to be able to communicate with your team and like really make a heavy hitting play on either a player or a side of the map. Yeah, 2 guns are better than 1, right? Especially when you know how you have a player ISO'd, you should be able to fly out and chow that player. But as it all falls, I mean, Dream going up 2-0 in the series, I think this could easily be a hot 3-0 and a handshake. I feel like they're looking super, super solid right now.
See, the last time I casted, I predicted a 3-0, and then I was completely wrong. So, I mean, realistically, looking at the stats, at the slaying, how both games have gone so far, it kind of just seems like Vegas is outclassing Raleigh just a little bit in those, like, important situations. And so if you look at it, it should be Vegas taking it here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Raleigh pulls out a win on this overload.
Yeah, I can totally see them getting outslayed a little bit here and then just playing the overload a bit better. Playing the EMP. The EMP is, man, the most important thing on the map. Slays are really, really cool, but that EMP has got to go in.
Yeah, it's like we saw the other day with that actually was the map I was talking about. I forget the team, but they were outslaying so heavy that it was making it to where they were down at half, but they were outslaying by like 15 or like maybe 10 kills. And so that might be what Vegas has to not do in this map is, yes, you can get the kills, you can clear the lanes, but somebody's going to have to take that EMP into the overload zone. If not, if you play too slow, if you play too long, if you allow Raleigh to get any type of footing and they decide to just go when they have 3 down, it's going to make it really hard for any of that slaying to matter.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a hard map to take. You got to start off early. You got to start off hot. You got to get those map rotations in. And we're going to go ahead and swap on over these team logos real fast.
I mean, right now, Vegas have the preferable side of being able to go cap that B point. Like we were talking about it before the game even started, that B point on left side, all you have to do is get by that one cut and you're in. And so as we already see, 7 check already pushing in, already getting B control, gets one in their spawn, and Vegas is kind of just playing it slow and taking all the pressure, and it's going to look like they're going to wrap to the back of their spawn and push it B.
Yeah, they're gonna wrap it back to their spawn, push it B, try to get on over. I think this is the easier side to cap on. Who is that number 7 arrow? Chad's gonna be playing super far forward, gonna get a lot of info here. Knows that there's someone in the cut, sees a second one. Who is that? That is Slippers picking up the EMP, gonna be able to get over here in time. Remember, that bomb is gonna spawn. That EMP is now gonna spawn over towards jumps. This is gonna be a big transition here to see who can get back as fast. This is gonna be your big collision here. Plays the cut. Who's that one arrow? Dill Pickle. Dill Pickle still able to get the kill. Dill Pickle is gonna fall. Nobody else there. Tristy's doing a great job playing a little bit of defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where Dill Pickle, yeah, he turns around and gets the kill, but it still might be a cap for Raleigh as 3 go down from Las Vegas, and nobody's going to be there to stop it. And we see 7 and 8 already kind of extending through the B side of the map and making it to where Raleigh's just kind of trapped in this roof side trying to scramble to get map control.
Yeah, I feel like it's pretty even on the slays if you look at it overall. As I say that, you have a breadstick and a donut, a mixed, you got lunch and dinner on this side of the map. Yeah, I mean, Vegas is doing a good job capitalizing on that first cap, but Raleigh doing an amazing job, I think, keeping their composure and playing through on that side as well.
Yeah, the overextension out of Raleigh was great, but right now, it's kind of a back and forth here on the new EMP as we see 2 for 1 in kill feed. Check's just been in their spawn the whole game. First life, goes into their beat, gets 5 kills, they get a cap. And so it's really just trying to make it to where Czech can go do what he wants and gets the pressure and just play around him. And as we see that, Vegas kind of get control of the EMP, and they're just going to maybe push it up the B side, waiting for number 8 to get a flank. And number 3 doesn't see. It's just a collapse. Jonesy's through though. Dill and Jonesy combined for 3 and stopped the EMP push.
Yeah, that was a big standoff play there between Dill and Jonesy. Going to allow your teammates to get back up. However, Slippers is going to pick up 2, trying to get momentum on the side. A stun is going to pop in to this right here. Oh, the damage with the nade was really big.
I mean, the reset there, like the idea of just letting it reset for others is a good idea. You don't want it to be pushed up that far on your side, but you have to get the kills. As we see, just they're banging out B side, and nobody's going to be close enough. Number 4 is the only player who might be able to stop it, and he gets taken out by Czech, and it's a 2-1 lead now. And Vegas gets lucky; it doesn't spawn on the deep roof side of hill. It's actually in P1. It allows them to kind of get back and chow this a little quicker. It doesn't let Raleigh overextend as easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think the transition from the 3rd EMP to the 4th EMP can be super scary, just because I think it's definitely easier to take it from P1 to the side that you just capped on, and that would have been the B side. Yeah, but they do a really good job. Raleigh kind of bouncing out of that momentum swing. They're able to get the EMP kind of trapped in their spot. It is probably going to respawn. Oh, no, they're going to... Trusty is going to pick it up, going to receive info. If they die here, this could be a big kill, but no, that arrow does get picked up. That was Jonesy waiting in the back. A lot of patience here from Tristy. Tristy getting the info from the team. Slippers is going to be pushed out front in front of them, and you're going to see Rilo. Rilo's going to be your big gunfight right here.
Yeah, and he just gets taken out by Cash. There's still 2 there to stop this B push, but Czech gets 1 mid-map, and it kind of makes it to where you have to wonder, are they going to come our mid-cut? And as we say that, Jonesy gets 1, Cash trades it out, Czech hitting the flank, and it looks like it's going to be another cap, but Rilo gets 2, and it's Rilo and Dill Pickle again, combining for 3 to stop the cap on the B point.
Yeah, it's gonna be to see a tale as old as time there for those 2 players to play a heavy line on the defense, keeping the score line pretty close. Going into this second half, it is very doable, very, very doable to come back and try to win.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where Raleigh has to take more advantage of the times that Vegas might push out too far and leave their bomb carrier kind of stranded, or the carrier, and then making it to where they can't get in favorable positions. But right now, the one score that they had was on the overextension, and it's kind of hard to have to rely on that because that EMP can just spawn mid.
Yeah, I mean, big on them for recognizing that in the moment and getting that point. However, they got to get a little bit of mid control and a little bit of control over on this P3 side. But we're going to see a big fight here in middle. We're going to watch Ack is going to try to hover with the AR over to the couch's side. Rilo falling, getting a kill and then falling. Some decent trades now over for this team. Oh, okay. Going to pull it back. Interesting. Do not do it. Okay. No, they just wanted the ground. They're going to allow Jonesy a little bit of time to get their feet planted. I thought they're thinking about wrapping A.
Yeah, I mean, an A-wrap wouldn't have been bad because, obviously the first initial reaction for anybody is, oh, hey, the Raptors are going to go especially on the side that Rain has right now. But Jonesy...
Interesting.
They stop it for a second as Vegas kind of pulls there, tries to push it up too far, and it's going to be, can you get Czech and Cash out of this window? And Rilo's going for the point and gets taken out because one player slides into the stairs for window, and it kind of gives Vegas a little bit of time to collapse on this EMP.
Yeah, Cash is going to be maybe a player to watch on the wrap here, looking to pick up a spawner or 2. This can be a deadly position to be in, picking up a nice little kill there. Tristy tried to fly in on that B side, and it is not going to work. Dill Pickle just kind of running it all the way over. Should get caught up with 2 here. Going to have to play their life. Teammates really nowhere to be found. Rilo finally pops up on the scene. That's an interesting play. I feel like that was maybe a little bit too anxious out of Dill to try to get it out of the spawn. You kind of just hand over possession. But Chunzi looking to pick up a kill. Big kill there.
Yeah, I don't hate Dill just taking that and trying to get it up as far as he can because maybe the reset doesn't happen fast enough and they're just there and they get the extension themselves. But as we see, Vegas is deciding to wrap this through Dojo side, gets 1-for-1 trade, gets a 2. Can they continue this pressure or is Rain going to stop it for another denied push?
Yeah, I mean, Rain doing a pretty good job denying all the push to Vegas. I think Vegas has definitely had more opportunities than Raleigh to score, and I think that's reflective of the score as well. Slipper is going to get pushed out on over to mid. Going to hit bottom, being a little bit of a nuisance here. That a player's going to get an angle on them, but Slippers is going to dip out. Going to push up top, just kind of handle. I mean, I'm a big fan of, like, making sure that possession is well used, right? So I think keeping possession of this EMP, especially if you're this team in the lead and you're able to dictate and make it flow on the map, I think is super important. But, I mean, honestly, this is looking like it could be we have something going here over on maybe B or A as they take it bottom mid.
Yeah, the thing about Vegas right now is they're getting that first initial wave of kills to be able to get pushed up, and then they just think that they have enough time and they just want to fly.
Yeah.
But they need to start playing for that second wave of kills. But Check just gets a free capture because Raleigh starts playing mid, thinking that the device is going to reset it. Check just picks it up and runs it in.
Yeah, really heads up play by them, knowing that they have the timing. Slippers picking up a 2-piece as this EMP gets popped back up. And with capping on that B side, you already have a little bit of momentum and control on the B side again as it spawns on top of jumps.
Yeah, this could be a really bad position for Rain, especially with 3 down. It's just going to be a 3-1, 4-1 lead now with Vegas just still having pressure on your spawn, and we're going to see another overextension potentially here by Raleigh. I don't know if Vegas can get back fast enough.
Yeah, I don't think Vegas is going to get back. It's going to be Tristy here. I mean, that's a couple of big kills on the map. Yeah, Check not able to pick up that kill. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, just not able to pick up that kill on time. Good counter cap there from Raleigh, but so far Raleigh only has counter caps to their name. I don't feel like they've gotten an actual breakthrough on this map yet.
Yeah, it's just that they give 4 on the overextension, and Vegas just can't get there fast enough. And as we see, Vegas bomb control again. Check guns the guy mid with a pistol. He goes top window.
Ooh!
And he guns another. Keeps control of the EMP, gives his teammates time to get to him, and now they actually have a chance of getting a setup, and they look like they're going to go Dojo here. But it's just the rotation from Rain's going to be too easy. They're going to have to get the second wave of kills.
Yeah, and it looks like oh, not going to happen. Oh, super close. Stop right on that goal line. However, it is going to be too little too late for Raleigh to get back into this game because as time winds down, they're just simply not going to have enough time.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it takes 10 seconds for each mom to reset. So the larger lead you have, the easier it is for you in the end game because you know if you have a 3-cap lead or a 2-cap lead, once it passes 30 seconds, it's just game over.
Yeah, I mean, and because of that, that's going to result in a 3-0 here for Vegas. Vegas coming in, doing the job. I think they look super solid. I think maybe the overload, was maybe just like better decision on route making, but overall, I think it was fine, right? I would say like their flaw is like the counter caps.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you don't have to have all 4 players pushing up to cap a bomb. If you know that you have presence near the detonation site and you already have the lanes covered, the furthest back person just needs to go ahead and play for the OE. It at least try to take up some time to give your teammates time to get back instead of just the other team being able to immediately just counter cap and overextend.
Yeah, I mean, but with all said and done, if those are the only caps that you're giving up, then you're winning the map, right? I mean, you have twice as many opportunities what it felt like to score it there for Vegas. But yeah, Raleigh, you just gotta rely a little bit more on getting guns forward, and yeah, just really making good decisions in the middle of the map. I think that was the big key there on that game.
Yeah, I mean, and another thing is every map, even though the S&D was super, super close, Vegas still outslayed Raleigh in every map.
Yep.
It's one of those things where if that's happening, it's very hard to win a complete series when you're not outslaying in a map. And so that's one of the things that Raleigh's going to have to look at is going to be like, where can we put our main slayers, our star power on the roster? Where can we put them in better positions on the map to let them do what they need to do?
Yeah, I mean, map position is key. But yeah, overall, good plays there from Vegas Dream. Raleigh going to have a little bit to think about. I think definitely with their objective play, these maps are doable because if they can keep it close without having that heavy slaying, then I think they can maybe just get their gunnies a little hot and push maybe a little bit more forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those things where like Raleigh just really, really decided to play old school COD, have traditional roles, and work on teamwork and work on OBJ presence, while Vegas kind of were just like, you know what? If we're in your face, if we're running at you, if you're dead every time that we see you, it's kind of hard to win a map, and so it goes back and forth of which play style is truly better nowadays.
Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and roll on over to the interview with the MVP. Chetch, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, dude. I'm feeling good, looking good. I feel good.
Brother, you are frying.
Now, I appreciate it. Honestly, I didn't even feel like it. I felt like I played really bad, actually.
Interesting.
I don't look at numbers. I don't look at stats. Here on the LV side, we don't look at stats. We just play for the win. So, for example, S&D, you can go 1-10, make it 5-5, but then you can clutch a 1v1 and win the game for us. So stats don't matter. It's all about the win. And every single person on the team has their specific role. And we've just been really refining our roles and doing the homework, and we won.
Yeah, I feel like you guys have a lot of external pressure too with like conversations in the league. I feel like there's a lot of expectations on your guys' roster, and I feel like you guys definitely may have a big difference between week 1 and week 2, right? I feel like there was just a lot more clutching that you guys had. Your decision making was really good. What do you think your primary struggle is, right? I mean, obviously we can talk about the 3-0, but you're talking about still figuring stuff out. What do you think your primary thing is that you guys will be working on this next week?
Definitely rotations for a hard point. We're always just a tad bit late to them. And getting our setups actually set up for those rotations once the new hard point pops. And then our second thing would be just not making the game complicated for ourselves. I feel like the only way we lose is if we complicate things, and we lose because of ourselves and not the actual team that we're playing against. So once we figure that out and just chill on the map and not make it so hectic to where it doesn't need to be as hectic as it is, we're chilling and we're slaying and we're flying.
Yeah.
So obviously, we can't. Oh, my bad.
No, go ahead, Maggie.
I was going to ask. Obviously, we see a different composition of team from week 1 to week 2. What kind of clicks with this roster that makes it the one that Vegas wants to run right now?
The players that were on the main roster before, obviously every single player under the LV squad is very, very good. So there wasn't like a huge difference between like talents or gunny. It just really who we chemmed with the most and what was the most fluid on the map. We were blessed with that. So we weren't really worried about talent per se once we brought in new people, and me, including myself. But yeah, like you guys seen, it's a different roster. We have a little bit of more slaying power, and we just mesh better with this squad than the squad that we had before. And this is the team that's going to go forward, and we're all on the same page, which is very, very important.
Yeah, I mean, you guys definitely look like you're on the same page, and we can definitely tell by the way you guys develop throughout the map that you guys are having good communication on the map as well and figuring it out then as well, using these matches as just furthering progress. I mean, I have no further questions. Magni, what about you?
So, I have 2 more before we leave. But who are you most looking forward to playing now with this new team? Like, what team do you want to go out and play that like, hey, if we beat this team, people are gonna start realizing we're the team to beat.
Probably DC. So I've heard through talks that DC is probably looking like the top team right now in the league. So I definitely want to play against DC, smack them, and win that shit. So these people in the league can realize that we are going to be a top team. We have the slang potential, the gunning potential, and the teamwork potential, especially as time moves on and we keep getting better and better. That we are a top team. We had a little bit of a rough start, a little switching up rosters, figuring out what works and what doesn't work. And so as time goes on, we're going to age just fine.
Yeah, man. But I think that's all we got for you. We got to get to an intermission and then the next match. But congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the MVP. And I'm looking forward to seeing you play at the next match as y'all have.
I know. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys podcasting as well, doing your guys' thing. Always appreciated. And I'll see you guys around.
Yes,
awesome. Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and throw it over to a small intermission here. Unfortunately, Magni, this is the only game that you're commentating tonight. Any words for the fans?
I'm not going to get sentimental, but I was kind of like questioning, like I filled in for 1 or 2 times casting and the people kind of just being like, no, you're good. I really appreciate that because it makes me want to keep doing this. So really the only reason I'm still casting is because I've been told to like, no, keep doing it. You're good. So I appreciate all the positive feedback. I appreciate everybody watching and hopefully you'll have a good rest of the night. And hopefully this next match is a little bit closer for y'all so you can have some more Call of Duty to watch.
Thank you so much, Magni. We appreciate you too, man. You're so good to us. So, but we're gonna get into an intermission. We'll be right back. We're gonna be setting up Rated Texas versus Omit Brooklyn.